National Adoption Month, last day of National Adoption Month. So let's continue the conversation because one big issue that adoptive parents face is when to tell their child that he or she was adopted. And it's something that I'll eventually have to deal with myself one day with my daughter, Olivia Rose. But we'll get there when we get there. Here to talk to us about this is the author of a new children's book that may actually help with all of this. It's called The Baby with Three Families, Two Countries, and One Promise, an international adoption story. So author Julie Connor joining us live this morning. Julie, good to see you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Dan. Thank you so much for having me on your program.
Yes, and so let's get first and foremost, to why you actually wrote this book. What's the purpose here?
Well, the purpose is to help adoptive families by giving them a book that they can adapt to their own family circumstances and use as a tool with their children, very young children, to explain adoption, what it is, how it happens, all the factors that go into it. So it came about because when I adopted my son about 30 years ago, I looked for such a book and it didn't exist.
Right.
So I wrote a little book for him and I would read it to him. And this was because the strong recommendation from the adopting agency that I worked with was to let your child know from the earliest age that they are adopted.
Yeah, and so and it's important, right, to kind of start telling that story at a young age. You can incorporate it with books that you can write yourself, but you can also read books just like yours to help understand the process and the whole storyline. Everybody's story is unique. So walk me through a little bit about what's so special and unique about this specific book.
Well, it is very unique. I've looked on the market, and there's just nothing like it. Most books about adoption are for parents. They're not for children. Of the ones that are for children, most of them are based on animal characters, such as a mama bear might adopt a chicken, something like that. They're cute and they're sweet, but they're not what I was looking for. I was looking for a book based on real humans.
Yeah.
Secondly, what books there are, they usually are focused on the adopting mother and the adopted child. I wanted a book that showed the whole range of people involved in the adoption process. So the biological mother, the adopting parents, the social workers, even the U.S. consul who has to give an internationally adopted baby a visa, the grandparents, even the family dog. I wanted to bring the whole cast of characters for a story in. So my book does that. And another thing that my book does is it talks about how the biological mother made the decision to give her child up for adoption. This is a burning question that children often have, and most of the books don't address the issue, but mine does.
Well, that's good. It's important to address that too, because I think some people say, oh, well, it's the fear of actually talking about it as an adoptive parent, right? There's that fear of actually going there, but you have to. And so you retired as a Foreign Service officer with the State Department before turning to writing. Your title talks about international adoption. Is that why you chose to write about international, or was your story international?
My story is international. I adopted my son from Colombia in South America. And so that's what I know most of. And I know a lot about adoption from working in embassies all over the world. So on international adoption, I believe I am extremely knowledgeable. On domestic adoption, less so, because I didn't go through the process myself.
Yeah.
But any adoption, whether domestic or international, I recommend highly based on my own experience. And so I wanted people to think about it and explore it. And if domestic adoption is closed to you for whatever reason, you do have an option for international adoption.
Yeah. So what age do you recommend people actually read this book? And do you find that the book is actually prompting children to then ask some more questions?
That's really relevant, Dan, let me say. Yes, the book is designed for children about 2 to 8 years old. However, I had a response from one of the reviewers who reviewed my book, who said she read the book with her nephew, I think it was, who was about 9 years old. And he wasn't adopted, but he had a friend who was adopted. And he had heard his friend was adopted, but he didn't really understand what that meant. So in reading the book with this nephew of hers, the reviewer said he asked all kinds of questions, which either the book answered or she was able to answer. So the book is also a tool for people who just want to expose their children to diverse families, to blended families.
That's what's so important too, right? Exposing not only the adopted child, but friends and other relatives who can further understand the whole process. Julie, thanks for writing the book. Where can people get it?
Well, you can get it from Amazon.com, of course, or also from my website, which is Bayou, Bayou, citypress.com. So either place would be fine.
Yeah.
It's out in hardback and paperback.
Very nice. I appreciate you writing the book. I appreciate you taking the time to talk about this. I have a very unique story being a single man who did this, so it's hard to find books that are just about, a single man. So maybe I'll write a book too.
But that's one thing about my book. You can take my book and adapt it. You don't have to read every word. You can tear out a page. You can substitute your name and your baby's names.
That's great.
You can make it your book.
That's great. Julie, thank you very much for doing that. Appreciate it, all right?